Hello. Hello, dearie.
Hi, Tosi. How are ya?
I'm good. Good to see you. Hello, everybody. It's a good day. It's a beautiful day, and we are happy to be back live on the show.
Mm-hmm.
This is Unscripted with TD, where everything flows as the spirit goes, and we're happy to be back. Dearie, how have you been?
Excited.
I
I'm
can see.
so happy. Finally, spring is knocking.
It's
Guys,
smelling it. We can
spring
smell it.
is knocking.
Yes,
this
and we
winter
can
really
smell it.
showed us. It was the deepest
That was-
winter
that was
we've had
extensive.
in 6 years. At least for me, I'm just talking based on number of years, but it's the deepest we've had in 6 years.
That
But
was
look here.
extensive.
We're
That was-
excited. Spring is here. You can see me.
Can I make a
all
confession?
fired up.
Can
Yes.
I make a confession? I'm gonna miss the snow. I know a lot of people freak out when I say that, but it is what it is. I'm gonna miss the snow.
Guys, can you see the way I'm looking at Tosin right now? Like an enemy of progress. What's that? What's that? Yes, we love snow on Christmas Day. After Christmas Day,
That's it.
let it go, let it go,
Let it go. Let it go. I get it. So, guys, today, without much further ado, we're going to be talking about something very important.
Something super important to see. Yeah.
We're going to be talking about something that has to do with our mental wellness. And I found it quite interesting because guess what?
Mm-hmm.
One of the words we'll be discussing today was actually the word of the year for Oxford 2024, which is brain fog. No, brain rot.
Brain rot.
Yeah, brain rot. So apparently brain rot is a slang that Gen Z's slang on the social media that Gen Z's and Gen Alpha have used to describe the kind of brain fog that you experience, or the state of lethargy or mindlessness or brain deterioration, attention deficit, or whatever you call it, that happens from excessive consumption of meaningless details on social media.
Guys, we need Tosin to deconstruct what she just said. Meaningless details. As in, that's for me. I did I read English as my first degree, and I'm seeing a bit of oxymoron.
So
like two ideas, opposing ideas being placed. A detailed. What did you call it? Meaningless substance.
So
on
when
social
people
media.
consume things that are, like I said, meaningless, that doesn't make sense to them, doesn't add to their, they don't need information, and they just scroll mindlessly, that leads to brain rot.
Okay, wait, Tosin. We need to define what that meaningless is,
Okay.
right? You just said scrolling mindlessly and looking or spending time on things that do not add to them. Can you give an example of what you're actually talking about? Yes.
So all of us, not just Gen Z,
We all do it, right? That's why I needed to, see my aspect. Let me see my picture in the whole, right?
Not just Gen
We're dealing
Z
with ourselves
and,
today.
okay, guys, I made my hair. I'm not used to making my hair.
Guys, Tosi is shining.
Yeah. So when we consume information about the well photoshopped pictures of celebrities, friends, and family, and people we have no business knowing and don't have any business with us, and we get we have anxiety issues over their well photoshopped life that is pictured, and sometimes I even heard a new word recently about doom scrolling. It's addictive. You want to, because it releases dopamine, into your brain. You have
Oh,
pleasure
to say
in
you're
these things.
packing too much together. Okay,
sorry.
we're packing too much together. So you're saying that this meaningless, detailed, meaningless scrolling over the internet is more.
It's just one of the ways in which we experience brain fog.
The one we are describing right
that's
now.
just one of the ways,
right? The one we're describing right now is that you are on social media and you're on a certain person's page,
several people
have
no business.
I'm just giving an example, and all that you see are the make beliefs of pictures that they
reality,
but not
pictures that they reality.
have quoted. No, the truth is, look, I'll get there. Make believe pictures of people that's, oh wow. I'm going to give you an example to see. When we first came to Canada, when you leave Nigeria, you're in Canada, you're coming to Canada, everybody back home feels, oh wow, you have arrived, right? When we came to Canada, my husband, a PhD holder, had to start, from a construction company.
But he's not there anymore.
Well, he's not there, of course, the growth process, we thank God. But started from a construction company. That's what I wanted to say. And, he would go early in the morning, and then when he leaves work, he will clean himself up. And then sometimes maybe if he sees a scenery that he really likes, he will take a picture. He loves to take pictures. He will not put it out there, but he loves to take the pictures, for keeps. And then I think one time, he wanted to write an article and he just put himself up there. And people are like, oh God, I got this. You're really looking this and everything. He got home and he was like, I wish if they could see the hours before the picture.
What I looked like just before
the
that
picture.
time.
And guess what? Some people will see that and they will put themselves in trouble. And there was another time, we have this friend that bought, I can't remember, maybe one of this, powerhouse cars. Okay. And, we're seeing it for the first time. And my husband is a car lover, especially speed, engine. So if you talk BM, the German machines, right? So he saw one of them and the guy brought it and the guy was like, oh, I didn't know you like cars. I have, a couple of this. Okay, let's do a spin together. Whoa, he's like my husband in his, elements and everything. He got into the car and he did the spin with the guy and took a picture. Put it out there. And then, some people just felt, wow, wow, it wasn't his. He just, it
was just a fun time with
and
they had a moment with a friend.
But because
and
we don't have
it with a photo.
Because we don't have the opportunity to ask them questions, aside those people who will put it out there and pretend as though it's theirs, right? And guess what? In the world we live in, there's something called credits. People take all these things on credit. The clothes you see, sometimes people wear, they take them on credit. They are paying in bits and pieces. And you mirror your life against these people's lives, and you're already making yourself feel a sense of inadequacy. All of a sudden, your world that was okay for you and your own will become so troublesome. So I'm going to leave it to you. So to say, I'm just like, trying to lay that foundation, that leads to the brain fog. You said it is,
so it's just one
scrolling.
Of the parts. We're going to take this layer by layer. Yeah. So here's the thing. They feed on other people's make-believe. Then sometimes some people even go on doom, what is called doom scrolling. So, because in the name of I don't want to miss out, or I want to be updated. I want to be updated, and that's FOMO, like the fear, missing out. And then they go on feeding on negative things, and then this leads to PTSD, leads to trauma, and all of those things. And they're wondering where all those things come from. Statistics show that the current Gen Z and Gen Alpha are twice the population of those who are depressed, traumatized, or have PTSD are double those in the millennials.
And it's just the starting point to see. Because if care is not taken, like the course I'm currently taking, you are spot on. So much depression out there, and so much, trauma. you can't even, especially amongst the Gen Zs, and Alpha, because they want to. There's no process. They don't believe in process any longer.
Yeah.
They want to arrive today.
Yeah.
And because they want to arrive today, they put so much on their plates, and pressure presses them down.
Yeah, so don't get us wrong. It's good to arrive early, but there's also something called process, and there's timing for everybody. All right. So here's what I'm driving, and this is not an attack on Gen Zs or Gen
no. We're talking to ourselves.
This is an analysis.
Oh yeah.
Because this cuts across every generation. So how do you know we're talking to you today? When you enter a room, you don't remember why you entered the room. Yeah. Sometimes it's not just aging. It is that you're having a brain fog. So you went inside your bedroom to pick up stuff, and then you can't remember what you took, and then you had to trace your steps back, and then before you could go back to remember what it was. If you're trying to, somebody you've always communicated with, is always called, maybe your children, your friends or something, and then you're like, BB, Bob, you find it difficult to remember names that you normally would remember, you're experiencing a brain fog. If you're finding it hard to focus or to concentrate, you're fidgety, it's not ADHD sometimes, you're just having brain fog, because these days people label anything with anything. So if you can't focus, you can't study, you can sit still at something at a stretch, you're experiencing a brain fog.
Anyways, just to put it out there, this is not medical advice. We're just discussing issues around that we've noticed in our lives, in the lives around us, and we're just putting it out there so that we can find working solutions.
I'm a
together.
mindset reengineering coach. Darren is a community.
I'm in social services. Yes.
So we're speaking from experiences and things we've seen and things we've experienced and things we've seen around us as well. And we feel like bringing this out there so that people are aware and know how to deal with these things. So there's brain fog there, and then some like we said earlier, so what can lead to brain fog? Sometimes vitamin deficiencies. So if you're deficient in vitamin B12, vitamin D, which happens during winter
a lot,
because you can't go outside, there's no
sunlight around us. And that's one of the things Nigerians enjoy all year round.
Exactly, or Africans or people in the tropical region.
All
that's
year
what
round.
the people in Dubai and all that. So yes, that's what they enjoy all year round. The vitamin deficiencies could lead to it. Overworking could actually lead to brain fog, and excessive stay on your computer as well, because the lights apparently have effects on our brain.
We're talking to you.
Yes,
get off that computer now. Now, take some time out.
There's an overstimulation of the brain. When we consume too much information, or we stay too long at a task or something. So and then sometimes we do things mindlessly. You do the same thing over and over. Routine. So you should have breaks.
Break the routine.
I'm going to come back to that.
Break the routine.
So sometimes, for example, we have the culture of binge watching stuff these days. Now,
who is guilty there?
So when you binge watch stuff over time, you overstimulate that part of the brain, and he doesn't stress. So let's say a movie, for example, maybe a movie that is not challenging. Your brain is no longer challenged. It's on what I like to call autopilot.
Yeah.
You understand? So when it comes to
knows
places,
what to expect.
When it comes to times and places where you're supposed to actually use your brain, there's a brain freeze, because it's brain that don't stress me. You're putting too much.
So now to say, how do we draw the line, right?
Okay.
Because I'm gonna be truthful with you. Some of us are guilty of that.
Most of us
after working so hard, I just feel like I just want to sit with this. I want to cut away from. So for some of us, we use it as routine break. Right, we've been doing one thing for so long, I would just want to sit down with this and just see it through.
And just get it. I get it.
Like I just saw one, and I'm so angry with the producers because I'm not sure they're done with it. We'll come back to that, guys. We'll come back to that.
So are we saying we know that it's not practical for people not to be on social media.
Mm.
It's not practical not to binge watch what you love and all those things. But we're saying that at what cost? So that you even, like I said, overworking could lead to brain fog.
Lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep could lead to brain fog.
That's important.
And then sometimes sicknesses like COVID over an extended period of time could lead to brain fog as well. So we are not just castigating one aspect. We are creating an awareness.
Yes, advocacy for.
Yes, for these things,
for this
and we're saying this is real. Check yourself if it's happening in your life. Maybe we can suggest things that can be done, or you need to see a medical expert and see a professional and see how they can help you if it's in a chronic situation. But if it's just in a mild situation, or how do you prevent this? Take regular breaks, for example, from work. Yeah. I read somewhere in Harvard Business Review that after a 1 hour walk, set an alarm for every hour, and then take 5 minutes of mindfulness, a break for mindfulness. Yeah. Just be aware and all of those things.
Be present. Right?
Be present.
That's the
take
word.
A break from your work. Yeah. And then be present with yourself,
Yeah. Breathe.
Take deep breaths,
Yeah.
Listen to your breath.
Yeah.
Listen to your thoughts. And word of wandering thoughts. At that time, just
stay focused.
Stay, focused. And one thing, while I was meditating on this topic, some things came to mind. This is unscripted. We don't have a script. We're just talking from the bottom of our hearts. But while I was thinking earlier about this thing, it dawned on me that everything is at a cost. Let me explain.
Tosin has come again, right, guys? Everything is at a cost.
Everything is at a cost. The free music, the free content on social media, you are paying to watch it. I'm not talking about data this time around. I'm talking about attention.
Yeah, your time.
Attention, I feel, is the greatest currency in this decade because it's a currency of life.
Wait a minute. Guys, attention is the greatest currency of life.
Yeah.
So we're equating attention to your time, which is what makes you, right?
Yeah. Because social media wants to keep you
glued.
They want you to stay there for as long as possible. People even get paid on YouTube for how long they can keep eyes, on a certain content on YouTube. We want you to watch our content. So yeah. But what I'm saying is, what are you watching? What are you paying? At what cost?
Okay, no, guys. Before Tosin hits that nail on the head, have you subscribed? Have you shared? And have you commented? Look.
And hit that like button.
Hit the like button.
Hit that like
Keep
button.
us going. This thing takes a lot of our time.
Yeah.
Help us appreciate these girls. Appreciate these girls. And the fact that Tosin says no social media doesn't mean that you should get off unscripted TV.
No, we're not saying no. We're saying that
stay glued. Stay glued because this is giving you good content.
Yeah,
this is giving
that's what
you
I'm saying.
Real life issues.
Stuff.
Yeah. Thank you.
If you want to keep your brain sharp, you consume something that is meaningful. Just like you would not want to feed your body junk in the name of food. You won't feed your body dirt. You won't feed your body what will kill you. Some people do, but it doesn't make it right. In the name of it's good food or it tastes good. The same way, look, consider what is going to your mind. At what cost am I paying this attention? At the cost of my destiny, without trying to sound too deep, at the cost of my family, because sometimes we've gotten into this drifted state that we can't even connect. We can't have deep connections socially with family members, with friends, with people. For example, you go to a social gathering, everybody is on their phone. I've seen it several times. Birthday party and everything just before things starts. Instead of people in those days, well, I'm not that old, but before now.
In those days, guys, we are children.
Before now, when there are events, people mingle, share drinks.
That's the whole essence of an event, right? That's
before the event starts.
Yeah.
But these days, we find a lot of people in the corner with their phones. Either they are obsessing, taking their own selfies, their own pictures, or
they're somewhere else entirely.
They're somewhere else on the
internet.
internet.
And you're talking about events. What about family dinner tables?
Exactly.
Now kids don't even talk to parents any longer. Everybody eats differently. Okay, I get my plate of food, I'm in my room, I'm gaming off. I get my plate of food, I'm on my phone, I'm on TikTok. I get my plate of food,
And then
daddy is busy watching
like,
some things about
you hear things like hello, when are you going to tomorrow, are you coming for here's our food, mommy, drop it. No, that's
Really?
all right.
Really?
That's all right. You should make eye contact. Be present when you're talking to people. Pay attention to them. Because guess what? When we make meaningful connections, it not only, I can't explain this scientifically, but it not only helps us in a way that we can meet with other people. You don't even know. Okay, sorry, I'm a lot of things are coming to my mind, but I'm going to nail this. Don't worry, just follow me. My husband and I were discussing recently, and we realized that some people in your lives are doors. They
lead you somewhere. Right?
The opportunities that they open for you are lifetime opportunities.
Tell me about that.
Okay. One day I was frustrated. You know, we get to that time in our lives where we're just like, what am I doing with my life? What is this and all that? Then I was praying. I was like, I'm a Christian, I pray. So I was asking God, Lord, what's going to happen to this next phase of my life? I'm a very restless, so I do a lot of things. But I wanted to narrow it down to, God, what are we doing now? Then, just as I was finishing that call, my mother-in-law gave me a call. That prayer. My mother-in-law gave me a call, and she invited me to one program. Normally, I wouldn't go because I'm like, I'm too depressed or too sad or too whatever.
I just don't want to go out. I want to be on my own, right?
It wasn't an event. At that time, I just finished my MBA. So it wasn't a professional event as it were. It was just something they were hosting in their church. Guess what? I went for that event. Maybe out of respect or I don't know. Not knowing it was an answer to my prayer. I'll get to it. When I got to that event, I can't remember a thing that was said apart from what one man said. Apologies if you're hearing me. I call him Moga. If you hear me today, your English was not good, and you know, we both know. But
well, it's Tosi and Dairy, and it's unscripted.
No. Okay. He knows. We both know, and he's fine with it. But it wasn't the English. It was the fact that what I spent 5 years to learn in school, this guy does every day in Oyinbo. He was in Oyinbo market doing food packaging. I read food engineering, first degree. Now, I was fascinated. After the event, we got talking. We got engaged. Guess what, Darren? My first trip to the US was because of this guy.
Guys, did you hear that?
Was because of this guy.
So, bottom line, let's go back to our brain fog. Find
global opportunities, talk about talking
content.
And all those things was just this guy. But was because that day we made a meaningful connection. I didn't make that connection that day with the mind of, oh, come and give me a point. I didn't even know he had the opportunity. I didn't even know he was that connected. I didn't even know he was that connected because he didn't look it and he didn't even sound it.
That's another story for another day. Some packages that will give you better returns may not look like it.
Exactly. But we made meaningful connection that day, and then before we knew, we became friends, and before we became professional colleagues, and today, like they said, the rest is history. So what I'm saying is, if you drop the facade and and let our brain be active and be present when we meet people, it's not because we need something from them. It's just because you care about this person. You want to know them. You want to hear what they are saying. You want to know what they are about. How can you contribute to their lives? And perhaps how can they contribute to your own life?
So what I'm hearing you say is just not just about, being connected. When you connect with people, when you are present, you are not just, connecting with those people. You're also helping yourself.
Exactly.
Because you're warding off brain fog.
Do you know? Yeah, and then these social connections actually help our lives, to move better. But let me go back to that point that you just nailed now. Somebody said, I think it's Mrs. Ibukun Awosika in Nigeria, that said that you are 10 people away from your next biggest hit. Just 10. Somewhere within, it may not be up to 10, maybe 2, 3, 4, but somewhere within the 10 people is your next biggest hit. Somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody.
Back to what Tosin just said. Mrs. Ibukun Awosika, we really respect you. Unscripted TD, we love you.
Yes,
yes,
we do.
And we're using one of your words.
And we honor you.
Just to put it out there, guys, we have people that we look up to.
Yeah? Yes. And that said, so look at it. Now, this is where I'm going with this. How many opportunities or ideas or lifetime connections, even with your family members that you see every day and sleep with every day, have passed you by because you were not present? I will explain. One of the things that we can do to get rid of brain fog is to have what I like to call solitude times, where you are in solitude. A lot of people are afraid to be alone by themselves. Don't be. And some people are like, when I'm alone, it's like my mind wants to run mad. Yet that's because you fed your mind with a lot. It's overloaded, overstimulated with so much information. And the brain is like, it doesn't even know which one to settle in and which one to pick up at that time to focus on. I'm sure psychologists and other people can explain this better. But what I'm saying is, try to practice silence and maintain solitude at least once a day, either before you sleep or when you wake up. Because guess what? Ideas are flying. Even the ones that can transform our lives. Opportunities that can change and transform the world. So this is not even just about you. Who knows, maybe you have been picked to be the next savior of the world with one breakthrough invention that sometimes will enter into your mind, but because you are not present, it's like, oh, I wish, and then you just brush it off. How about you are present enough to digest this idea and transform our world?
One thing I'm going to add to that, when you are getting that done, to say, make sure that you have a note and a pen beside you. Ideas can fly.
Ideas are fleeting.
So as it's coming, you're putting it down. You're right. It may not make sense to you. As a matter of fact, the sentence may not be correct. Just make sure you're capturing something.
Yeah.
You know, and Tosin talked about when your mind goes to several things at the same time and being afraid of being alone. That in itself, I'm here to tell you, you're not alone. If you're someone going through that at this moment, you know, you're listening to us and you just feel, oh, this is not for me. Guys, you're not talking to me. Well, I want to tell you, you can start in trickles, right? 5 minutes. 3 minutes.
Even if it's a minute. Even if it's 1 minute.
2 minutes, right? Just take out that time and ensure that you are present with yourself. You are present with yourself. You are actually feeling and hearing yourself breathe. A lot of times we don't do that. We run through the day like we're one locomotive engine that keeps running on end. And when it's now time to, you know, do that, we discover that we've lost ourselves. There is, you know, a very great man that I follow in the course of my new learning. Like, you know, Tosin said, I am taking up a new learning. I have stepped into the space, you know, social services space, and I'm still learning. I'm still a baby, right? But there's a man, Mathieu Gabor Mathieu. He would say that a lot of people who go through things, you know, to even go back to the, you know, scrolling and just being, you know, hooked on scrolling, meaning that you are addicted to that. You are hooked on, you know, social media. A lot of times we see addiction as, you know, a drug thing or substance thing or the other, but that is also an addiction because it's taking over your time. And like Tosin said, it's taking over your time, it takes over your life. Right? So W. Mathieu says a lot of people that go through that is because there are 3 aspects of their lives, you know, put together that have brought them there. We talked about, she mentioned dopamine. You have associated, you know, happy feelings with scrolling through unreal things on social media mindlessly.
Doom scrolling.
And then your dopamine, which is the biological part of you, he will start giving you kind of enjoyment. But it will give you enjoyment for 5 minutes. After a while, you say that 5 minutes is not enough. You have to push it to 15. You have to push it to 30. And then you see yourself scrolling. 3 hours, you're still on your phone.
And guess what? The real things that pertain to life now become boring.
Yeah, because you won't see them as real any longer.
Yeah, you find them boring, and then you can't focus and concentrate. And then you find out that sometimes academically people begin to deteriorate. At work, people begin to, the productivity is drastically reduced.
There's one thing that I was going to drive at that Gabriel Mateo would say, that a lot of people, because they've lost themselves in the process. Why? You can no longer find you, right? Because you've seen yourself in the structure or figure or life of several people. You don't even know who you are any longer. A lot of people that are addicted, they are looking at getting themselves. They are finding them. And what Tuse just described right now may just be a step towards finding you, who you really are.
Exactly.
5 minutes, 2 minutes, start with 1 minute. And you'll see how far it will take you.
That makes me excited, because when you find the real you, somebody said, I read it in the Dreams book, but I can't remember who she was quoting. But there are 2 most important days in your life. One is the day you were born. The second one is the day you find out why.
Purpose.
Because if you don't find you can't find out why. And we need your why, because guess what? We are all like these blocks. We all complete each other. So when you don't find your why, something is missing in all of our lives.
Yeah.
You see, like those spaces right there, we need people to fill in those spaces, because we need to find you.
Whole.
Yes, and you need to find your why. We need you to find you.
Yeah.
The world needs you to find
you.
And guess what I was driving at earlier? Thank you, Doreen, for that input. Is that when these ideas come into our mind, take time to process it. I'm going to quote your scripture. Bible says, some people say, I don't know what to do. I don't have an idea. Bible says, day unto day uttereth speech. There's no language or place where they are not heard, but we are not hearing. Even some people say, I don't hear God speak. God is always speaking, but we are not hearing. So and you are also speaking. I'm not trying to be too, I don't want to sound spooky here, but
please be you. Go ahead, be you.
There is the inner you. There is the spirit, your spirit of you that has been preloaded with what God has designed you for, and what will lead to your life and prosperity from the beginning of time, that wants to speak to you, but the world around you is too noisy for you to hear it.
Not that wants to speak, is speaking.
It's speaking.
And we'll talk about that. That's a whole topic.
That's why I didn't want to get into it earlier.
It is deep.
But there's just too much noise. Right now, as we're here, there are millions of frequencies in the air, but we can't hear anything because we're not tuned to it. So a lot of us are over-tuned to several frequencies at the same time. Just imagine having like 100 boom boxes with 100 different stations at the same time. Would you be able to stay in that room? You probably would say no. But that is what you're experiencing in real life when you go through 100 scrolls per minute.
You're giving yourself too many things to deal with.
Overstimulation of the mind.
Yeah.
And we forget the important things. The real things that matter to us. The real things that matter to our destiny.
Yeah.
And I'll wrap up with this story. But another lady that I respect so much, I listen to and follow. She's a global leader, even though she's from Nigeria. Her name is Debola Dejukunrumi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she said a story about a guy when she was in school and studying. I just want to draw out something. I'm going to speak a bit of a language, but I'm going to interpret it. This guy, apparently people were studying overnight, and where we come from in Africa, you wait till exam time before you start studying, not like here where you have to study from day one. Most people, not everybody, wait till exam time before they start studying, and then you want to cram everything overnight and all of those things. And even serious students just study overnight, and that's okay. But this guy was sleeping while people were studying. Okay, he was sleeping. All of a sudden, he stood up and was shouting, "Oh, you pa me." The meaning of that is, this sleep will not kill me. So can you have a shout of destiny and tell yourself that this scrolling will not kill me, this mindlessness will not kill me, this binging will not kill me, this overworking will not kill me. I need to live. I need to be present. I need to be mindful. Take breaks from these things.
Yeah.
Some people even advise that you go on a digital detox. As often as you can afford it. Because we have to be real and practical. As often as you can afford it, but it is a thing that can be done. Once in 3 days, once in a week, once in a month, whatever works for you. Take a social media fast. Take a TV fast.
Guys, for some people, they don't eat so much, but you can't take their phones off them.
Exactly.
So that would be a meaningful fast, right?
Take a social media fast. Whatever it is that you know that is taking so much of your life and is not contributing commensurately to your life, or it's not going to help you, because there are even realms that there are things that we're not even aware of that belong to us. Can we begin to undo this brain rot or brain fog and enter into a state of, protecting our power center, which is our soul, our mind, and begin to be mindful, be present.
Yeah.
And if you must pay attention, ask yourself, at what cost? This scrolling I'm going through right now, what is the opportunity cost? And at this point, I rest my case.
Guys, you've heard it all. Today is just a reflective day. We need all to check ourselves. I'm checking, right? I just told you. I binge watch, right? And under the pretense of, I'm using
it's
it to
okay
break,
once in a while.
Yeah, I'm using it to break my,
it's okay once in a while.
My routine,
Yeah.
which is
but
that's
you do
where
every day of your
that's
week.
where it starts. So I need to be mindful.
Yeah.
I need to be conscious. I need to be present. I need to know that I'm not devoting my life to this. And
At what cost?
At what cost, right? So whatever you do out there, know that Tosi and Darien, we're here for you. Like we said earlier, we have a tribe we're building. You want to belong to our tribe?
Please.
Let us know. Just
we're going to put an email on the screen.
Yeah, and then you can send us an email.
Please
shoot us one.
send us an email,
and we'll reach back
and
to
then
you.
follow us on social media, on Instagram at Unscripted TD. What an irony, right? So follow us on Instagram, but don't worry, we promise you we're not going to spam you. We're always going to give you good content. Always good content, always.
And guess what? Sometimes you may just see us come up live on Instagram or even on YouTube. So
join us.
Watch out for that.
Thank you.
We say thank you for watching today. We appreciate you being there, and like we said, we always want to hear from you. You have any topic you want us to discuss, put it out there.
We want to hear from you.
We're open. So till we see you again.
Don't forget
next
to
time,
like, share, and subscribe.
Bye for now.